Good day, viewers and readers of Embassy Direct. Here again today with Former2Former, and today with the pleasant company of an old friend from all the way to South America in the Oriental Republic of Uruguay. Luis, how are you? ¿Cómo estás?
Dear Rodrigo, it's so nice to meet you again, even virtually. I hope you are having a good time. I'm really glad to be part of your space, Former2Former. So warm greetings to you and your team from Montevideo.
Thank you so much, Luis. And quickly, I would like to make a little bit of history. When Luis and I met back in South Africa, it was an important moment in sport history because it was the first time the World Cup was taking place in African soil. And Luis' team was there, actually, and I remember that we met them at your residence, Luis. I think that was a great moment for you also, no?
Absolutely, you are right. It's usually we recall with friends and relatives about these highlights of 2010 World Cup in South Africa. It was very nice because of our unexpected but fantastic performance during the World Cup. We reached a 4th place in a very competitive and imagine in all levels, and it was very nice. A lot of anecdotes, a lot of memories about this time. By that time, I was working in United Arab Emirates in Dubai. I was a consul general in Dubai, and I was transferred as an ambassador to South Africa because the FIFA World Cup was approaching. So I reached South Africa in late May 2010, only 2 weeks before the World Cup started. And then this was the time when we met for the first time. And it was nice because, by the way, even though other countries from our region were taking part in the tournament, we felt that a lot of company and support from our Latin American and Caribbean colleagues from all the embassies in Pretoria. So you're right, it was very nice. I was very happy to share all this environment and all the spirit of the World Cup that positioned South Africa fantastic because the organization was perfect. All the spirit and the friendship that all the visitors felt from South Africans was underscored by that time. And I believe the most important event that South Africa has faced in the current century, no doubt.
I totally agree with you. I believe that because being in South Africa for myself, the first time in 2000, I had the opportunity to be in a World Summit. Then later on, COP17, I think you were still there when COP17 and the racism and xenophobia United Nations conference also in Durban back in 2001, just before a week before the tragedy of the Twin Towers in New York. So yes, definitely a lot of history around what we have lived in somehow in our own times in South Africa. But Luis, what are those other memories that you have of South Africa? Please share with our readers and viewers, what do you miss the most of South Africa?
Well, to answer your question, I would divide in personal experiences or private life experiences and professional experiences. From the first points, we spent almost 3 years with my family in Pretoria. We have fantastic times and relatives. The nature, I believe this is the predominant feature of South Africa, to enjoy nature, because you have so many in different scenarios. You have the sea, you have the national parks, the reserves, you have so many things, you have a mountain, you have many things, and the foreigners there, we are able to enjoy and to go around and catch up with locals. So it's an really very positive and rewarding experience. So by the way, and my children at that time were at the age of primary and secondary school. They enjoy very much their school time there and exchanging with peers and classmates. So it was a fantastic time. And from the professional point of view, it was as well a very challenging time for me, because it was my first time as an ambassador. I took the position as an ambassador. So I tried to do as and I have the chance to exchange with authorities in almost all fields. We were talking about sports, but this was something. It was a kind of only one event, but I exchanged with authorities in political fields, cultural, trade. We were able to expand and promote the bilateral trade between Uruguay and South Africa, and this is a trend that hasn't stopped currently for 26 years. Bilateral trade has been increasing every year. So you may recall it, Rodrigo, our trips to Cape Town during February, from the we could say state of South Africa, to present, to receive, and to open the legislative year with all the authorities, with the president of South Africa, ministers, and it was quite live and rich the way we could exchange and with authorities and between the diplomatic communities. So, South Africa, no doubt, is a very vibrant social levels and social levels, political, trade unions, legislative, academic. There are such important and outstanding think tanks there. So I believe and I hope South Africa will be playing this important role in the African continent. It's a referent in many aspects.
And Luis, please tell us, what are you doing nowadays? You're still obviously with the foreign ministry. I do understand that you are in the African department, or please explain that part of your current life.
Of course, Rodrigo, pleased to answer to your question. After I finished my tenure in South Africa, it was this was December 2012. I came back to Montevideo, to the Ministry of Foreign Affairs headquarters, and then I spent here 3 years working as a Director General for Economic Affairs, and before being posted to New York, to the Uruguayan mission in New York, to the United Nations. It was I was deputy permanent representative, and it was a quite interesting experience, professionally speaking, because it was the time in which Uruguay was a elected member of the Security Council. We haven't been there for more than 50 years. Our first participation at the UN Security Council was in 1965, 1966. So 50 years passed until we had our second participation, and I was part of this team, 2016, 2017. So this allowed me to be in very close contact with all this peace and security agenda of United Nations, allowed me to be part of open debates, to all the sessions of the Security Council, and to be part as well on field trips to different destinations which are part of the Security Council agenda. Let's say Africa, for instance, we went a couple of times to Mali, to Burkina Faso, to Niger, to South Sudan, many places. We went to Haiti as well. All these countries that are part of the Security Council agenda, or where conflicts are undergoing, or the body, the UN Security Council believes that violence and conflict can be prevented. So it was a very, very interesting experience. As a diplomat, I believe is the best thing we can reach multilaterally. And I spent 5 years in New York until it was January 2021. 2020 for all of us, and this was worldwide, was a very tough year because of the COVID-19 pandemic. And especially in New York, it was really tough to be living there. No meetings, in-person meetings. Fortunately, we have the tool of internet and online connections and platforms as Zoom, for instance. But anyhow, it was very tough. Streets empty. No shops that were movies, or no Broadway. Imagine Manhattan and New York for 2 years without Broadway performances. It was quite strange, quite curious, and the spirit, the people was really depressed and concerned about you. You could feel it. Thanks God, things have improved a lot all over the world due to science and investigation. And we have vaccines, and our situation has improved drastically.
Yeah, we all left that horrible time, but it was a time also of reflection. And I think that those that didn't came out from that process being better people, then they lose a great opportunity to do so. Luis, this year Embassy Direct celebrates its 10th anniversary. We would like you to share with us, viewers and readers, and our company, any reflections that you have, any recommendations of a vehicle like us should do with the foreign diplomatic community in Africa.
Pleased to do it. Congratulations, first of all, for your 10th anniversary. I believe this is a very important means of communication, and I encourage you to continue on these contacts with interviews, with exchanges with former and current colleagues. An additional thing I didn't mention, but I believe it's timely to say, is that we were always briefed during our time in South Africa that the diplomatic corps in there is the second largest in the world, and I believe this is true. It's true. So this was for us gave us the possibility to have daily, permanent exchanges with colleagues, with meetings, with visits, with receiving official delegations, and even socially in National Day celebrations. So it was the amount and the volume of exchange was immense in South Africa, and I believe this has to be expanded all over Africa. Our priority has to be put on giving always preferential space to dialogue, to negotiation, and to confront against violence and intolerance. This is, I believe, the main message. I believe this is the main product, the main outcome of Embassy Direct and this space Former2Former, to gather different experiences that as diplomats we are getting and adding in our professional life during our experience in different countries. And South Africa, I believe, is one of the landmarks in this sense, because we identify very much with the struggle that South Africans for many years faced in favor of human rights and tolerance. The best outcome we could have, and the message I want to share with all of you, and again in this space, and the initiatives like Embassy Direct and Former2Former are very positive, very healthy, in order to contrast different experiences, life experiences, but with the aim, with the objective of promoting dialogue and tolerance. Even if we have cultural backgrounds, different cultural backgrounds, there has a common denominator that is dialogue and tolerance.
Thank you so much for your kind words, Luis. Always with your wisdom, sharing it with the rest of us. It has been a pleasure to have you here with us today. Readers and viewers, this has been Luis Bermudez Álvarez, former ambassador of the Republic of Montevideo of Uruguay to South Africa. Good luck, Luis.
Likewise, Rodrigo. See you anytime. Goodbye.